What's up, you guys? I'm kianaWOULD, and this is the kianaWOULD YouTube channel. I'm using this as a video journal just to kind of get the words out, you know? So if you're watching this for the first time, and this is literally my very first episode, so thank you guys for joining. One thing I'll never do is tell you to like, subscribe, or follow, because if you like this type of content, you'll do it anyway. And even if you don't, I like myself, so it really doesn't even matter. Also, another thing to note, don't expect any type of continuity on this channel because I do this thing called what I want. If we're going for a moody vibe like this today, we're gonna go for it. I might be in the park next week by the water, so who knows. So what I really wanted to get on here and talk about is my experience that I had for my 30th birthday. Cinco de Mayo, hey, because Shawty went skydiving. So if you know me, I am a daredevil. I am very goal driven. And if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I have found out these 3 things and I want to share them with you because it blessed the heck out of me and I hope it blesses the heck out of you. Number 1, my relationship with fear is elusive. It's not real. It's an illusion. Over the past month of April, I was reading through Proverbs. I was reading a Proverbs a day. I read Proverbs 29 verse 25 and y'all, it said, fear is just a trap from the devil. As long as you trust in God, you will be protected. And once I read that, well, that's the Kiana version. But once I read that, it kind of just clicked. So let's put it this way. The devil knows exactly the promise that God has for you. All this potential, your talents, and your natural abilities, like you have a gift and that's where your greatness lies. Now, the difference is that the devil is so insecure and he knows that if he can just get you to believe the little schemes, the little lies, he will stop you from actually living out the promise that God has destined you for greatness. When I thought of it that way, I was like, yo, I'm team God all the way. And if I actually feed into my fear and let it stop me from doing things, I'm giving the devil a W. And we're not trying to do that. The moment that I got on the plane and he was like, are you scared? Are you gonna chicken out? I said, yes, I'm scared. And we're gonna do it scared anyway. Let that encourage you that no matter what you're facing, just on the other side of that fear is going to be your breakthrough. That ties me into the next one. Number 2. Trusting God is freedom. Yo, I can tie this hand in hand with the skydiving experience. So you get there, right? You're on the plane, you start to take off. The window is up, so it's like a garage door on this tiny little plane, and you're taking off. You get up to the highest altitude where you're about to jump. And my instructor is strapped behind me like a really tight backpack, and he's like, all right, during our turn, you're gonna go to the edge of the plane, put your feet underneath the plane, put your head back, hold on to your straps, and when I say banana, we're jumping. And so in that moment, all I can do, even though I'm afraid and I'm terrified, all I can do is trust that he knows what he's talking about. And even before we got up there, I was like, yo, how many flights do you take a day? Like, how many times are you jumping out of this plane? On average, he's jumping out of the plane 24 times, y'all, a day. So I'm like, you definitely know how to troubleshoot. And he brought up a very valid point. He's like, yeah, I mean, I have a daughter to go home to, so I'm gonna make sure that we're both good because I got things to do after this. And so that helps me ease my nerves. Going back to the top of this plane and that very first initial jump, right? You're falling. It's not even a jump. You just fall. We went head first. That initial feeling is terrifying. My stomach went into my throat and almost came out of my mouth. But after that first 3 seconds of falling, that's when I kind of tapped in like, yo, this is crazy. I know this isn't going to last very long. So I'm going to take it in as much as I can, knowing that I can trust my instructor, knowing that I can trust this parachute. Everything else, I'm just letting go and being free. Wow! Oh my gosh!
All right, great job. How
Wow!
So good, right?
Oh my gosh!
Hey, amazing job. We've got a working parachute.
Wow!
We'll get this thing ready to fly, and we'll see you guys in a moment.
Oh my gosh! Yes! Come on! Yo, when I tell you that experience was so liberating, exhilarating, I was just opening my arms with full freedom and I was just falling into the earth. And it was just such a beautiful sensation that I'm trying to put it into words, but I almost felt like I broke through this threshold of what I thought fear was as this force field bubble. I like popped through it. And that's when I was like, I have nothing to be afraid of. Imagine I jumped off the plane and I was like holding on by my hand. That would actually do more damage than me just like fully committing to this fall. So I relate that to my faith. You take that leap of faith, you have to go 110% in. There's no looking back. There's no, well, maybe if I try it my way one more time and maybe if I manipulate it this way, like, no, cut it off completely. Turn your back from whatever it is that you're being called to leave behind you and just go. Number 3, cancel fear with faith. Life hack of the decade, y'all. The only way to get rid of your fear is to do it by faith. Not even get rid of it, because you're always going to have this emotion of fear. And I can say that because when I was up in that plane, I was fearful, but there's 2 types of way to look at this fear that I'm discovering. So there's one fear over here, which is more towards the enemy, and the fear over here that's more towards God. The fear over here is a lot more limiting. Okay. So it's going to tell you all these excuses, all these reasons why you can't do it. It's going to actually stop you from taking action. And once you get into this place, you start to overthink all the worst things that could happen. My therapist told me that overthinking is probably the most unproductive thing that you can do, because the more that you overthink, the more that you worry, and the less you take action. So who wants to be over here limiting themselves in this fear? Now, to put that in the other perspective over here, you can still be fearful, but have faith. Now, what that means is completely trusting. And no matter what happens to me, is happening for me to transform me into the person that I need to be for this to really come into fruition. Whoa. So when you look at it 2 different ways, this could either be limiting fear or you can make this fear more fun. So me jumping out of this plane, that was definitely a fun fear, because even though I was scared, I said, let's do it. Fear can either hold you back or it can project you forward, depending on your perspective.
Yes, praise God. Wow, this is dope.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Anything else you want to say before we get ready to land?
Come on, this is a year of fearlessness. Fear is just an illusion. You can do anything you want. Yo, this is so dope. Oh my God.
I'd love to hear it. Amazing job.
Right.
We'll see you guys down there in a minute. One more big turn.
Oh, wow.
All in all, to say, when I went skydiving for my 30th birthday, I realized that my relationship with myself, with fear, with God, it was an eye-opening experience for me to pour out everything that I was holding on to and leave it in the air, leave it on the plane. And by the time I landed on the ground, y'all, I could not stop saying, wow. I was like, wow.
Did you love it?
That was the best thing ever.
I felt so alive. I felt so alive. And I was so emotional even afterwards. I wanted to take it all in. I'm a very deep person, so I was taking it all in, journaling, all that good stuff. And I encourage you to do something that puts you outside your comfort zone so you can start to look at the bigger picture and give it a deeper meaning. If anything that I've been saying has been resonating with you, or if you know of a friend that this might bless, like, please send it to them, drop it in the comments. I know that we're put on this earth to pour our light into other people, so that's what I'm doing here. This is a service of obedience on my end. Other than that, y'all, I'm out. Bye.